What's up, guys? Hani from Luxury Gaming here, and I'm joined with Nesh.
Yo,
And we're going to go ahead and go over some replays from LCS 11. This is top 16. We got Penagos versus Nindo. And yeah, guys, let's hop right into it.
let's go. Okay, looks like Penagos is going to start his turn. He opened like Terraforming, Squamata, Nibiru, Shuttle, and Hedgehog. Now, he's gonna start with Terraforming, probably to add the Meltdown. And with Meltdown, Eilister. Oh,
Ooh.
and we see Nindo dropping the Droll and Lock, stopping his turn, and now we have two possible ways to face this interruption. Now, Penagos can advance his game state by setting Hedgehog, because he has Rush Shadow, and maybe if the opponent pops Rush Shadow, he can use the Shadow in opponent turn to flip the Shadow Hedgehog to gain an advantage advancing his game state, adding the fusion, or he can set Squamata if he wants to dodge the lethal damage. Let's see what he does. Okay, decide to set Squamata to dodge the lethal damage.
Yeah, and for Nindo, it looks like he opens Nadir Serpent, Alistair, Nibiru, Pot of Prosperity, and Pot of Desires. And honestly, it's very weird seeing both these cards in the same deck, Desires and Prosperity. Looks like it can conflict here and there, and right here you can see that it's kind of conflicting, but either way, his hand's very good, so let's see how he plays it. So he goes ahead and he summons Alistair. Alistair effect is going to go ahead and get Invocation. I think he starts with Alistair here, because if he gets hit with Ash Blossom, he could go ahead and Prosperity and try to dig for Invocation. And if not, he could probably go ahead and use Desires now that Invocation's out of the deck. So he goes ahead and he turns Almirage into Almirage into Secure Garna. He's probably using the Almirage play just so he could go into Perka Trio. So this automatically, I can automatically assume that he's playing the pure Dogmatica invoked deck, for the reason that he's playing cards like Almirage. Usually if you're playing the Shadal version, you're not playing Almirage, you're playing Artemis. So he goes ahead and uses Invocation. He summons Makaba. And now he goes ahead and plays Nadir Servant, sending Natis. So this is another indication that he's not playing the Shadal cards in his deck. He goes ahead and he adds the Ecclesia. And he goes ahead and uses the Natis to pop the face down. So he popped the Rush, and that honestly could hurt him, especially since he could go Rush first Squamata to interrupt him if he wants to. So goes ahead, summons Ecclesia. Ecclesia grabs Punishment. Plays Desires. And he draws into Nadir, and he draws into Alistair. Then he goes ahead and he uses Invocation to add back the Alistair. He enters battle, attacks with Makaba. His opponent decides to use Squamata here, and if you're Nindo, I'd probably go ahead and use Makaba. Me personally, I'd probably discard the Nibiru for the fact that he knows that he's playing Shadal, and honestly, you're probably just never going to use Nibiru against Shadal. And yep, he does. Now, the only bad thing is here is now that he used Makaba, main phase 2, Pentagors could go ahead and use Nibiru. So hopefully Pentagors doesn't use Nibiru here, because if so, we're only pretty much left with a punishment, and that's all. So yep, he goes ahead and he sets punishment and he ends turn, and it looks like Penagors ends up not using Nibiru. I don't really know why.
Yeah, we see Penagos not using Nibiru. That was a huge mistake, because like we can see, Nindo summoned 5 monsters. He went for Eilister, Almirai, Secure Gardena, then he went for Mechaba, and then at the end of it, Ecclesia. That was the 5th summon, and not using Nibiru in this spot could actually cost him the game. So actually his only play right now is using Meltdown, and I don't think he has a play in this scenario. Actually, he punted by not using any Biru, and this could actually be the end of the game one. Normal summon Alistair, use the effect, and like we can presumably assume Nindo use a matchup to negate the Alistair. So he's gonna pass.
Yep. And he does use Macabre there, and now it's Nindo's turn, and you can see that he has Nadir Servant, he has Prosperity, he has just so much things going for him. I don't really know how Penagos is gonna get through this. So he goes ahead, summons Alistair, he gets hit with Ash Blossom. He goes ahead and he links 2 into Phoenix, very unsure why. He discards Schism to pop the Meltdown. He goes ahead and he goes for Nadir Servant, sending the Winda. I think he's trying to go for lethal here. Yep, and Winda goes ahead and adds the Schism back. Okay, so he ends up not summoning Ecclesia. He just enters battle here. Maybe he's playing around Nibiru. So, yep, he goes ahead and enters battle. He attacks with both monsters. That's the Schism, and he passes turn.
Okay, now we see Penagos stop decking Meltdown again. This is pretty much the same spot as before. Normal summon Alistair, and we can presumably assume the fact that Nindo is gonna negate the Alistair like he does, and banish the Alistair, and that's the end of the game one.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that misplay from Penagos there just cost him. If he ended up using Nibiru there, he could have been able to trigger Alistair, and honestly, who knew where the game would have went from there, because he could have probably just ended up coming back with just the power of the Shadal card. So, honestly, that misplay definitely did cost him.
Yeah, that's pretty unfortunate because Nido moved from the battle phase to the end phase without passing from the main phase 2. And since you go into the battle phase, you are forced to go into the main phase 2, and maybe he just forgot.
Yeah. Very, very unfortunate.
Okay. We see Penagos going first again. His end is Shadow Fusion, Meltdown, Cosmic Cyclone, Ariel, and Alistair. Then we have Nindo with Triple Tactical, Meltdown. Then we Nadir, Cosmic, and Lancia. Looks like Penagos is in a very favorable position. I don't know why Nindo sided Lancia against the Shadow version, because it doesn't actually really hurt the deck. So let's operate in. And let's see what Penagos does. He starts with Alistair to play around the draw and lock because he got punished before. So we see, he goes for the Dink one, then use Artemis, then use Shadow Fusion to go into presumably Construct, then use Construct effect. He doesn't really need to play around Ash because otherwise Alistair would have been stopped. And he sends Squamada and Reshadow. Reshadow is a very good choice to send because he can actually flood it in the graveyard using the Construct effect after he will link summon it. Because he, like you can see, he special summoned it in the extra monster zone, so he presumably have the link one for the fusion monsters, so he's gonna get the Reshadow in the graveyard later, presumably. So he does use the invocation, and Lancia got chained to invocation, so he's gonna link the construct like he does, and then he will probably take the incarnation, then he will set incarnation. Yeah, then he used the Meltdown to add Alistair, set incarnation, set cosmic, and pass the turn.
Yeah, like you said, very good play by Penagos there to go construct into gravity controller, because now he could use the Rush Shadal fusion, summon back the construct during Nindo's turn, and hopefully get an interruption that way. So Nindo opened pretty well here. Looks like he opened very, very strong. So he starts off his turn by activating Meltdown, gets hit with a Cosmic Cyclone. It's very unfortunate because that was really his only way into Alistair. And now Nindo goes ahead and activates Cosmic Cyclone here on Rush Shadal Fusion. And that pretty much forces the Rush Shadal Fusion to summon the construct. And Nindo did know that was Rush Shadal Fusion set, but I think he used the Cosmic Cyclone on the Rush Shadal Fusion so he can make his tactical talent live. So he summons Construct, uses the effect to stun one from Dr. Grave. He sends Windy to summon Beast. And like I said, now Tactics is live. He uses the effect to draw 2. Goes ahead and he plays Desires. Desires gets him into Tactical Talents, and it gets him into Ice Dragon's Prison. So still no real way to play. The only way now to play or put monsters on the board is by just activating Nadir Servant. And let's see what he goes ahead and does. He sends the Tiss off in Nadir, goes ahead and he adds Ecclesia, and he pops the Beast. That allows Beast to draw into 1 card. That card being Super Poly, which is huge in this matchup, because he could use his opponent's Invoke cards to summon monsters from his extra deck. So Nido now goes ahead and he normal summons Ecclesia and uses the effect to get into Fleur-de-Lis. He summons Fleur-de-Lis, negates the Construct, and he decides to clear both monsters. And Construct is going to go ahead and add him Shaddoll Fusion. And even though Nindo has Punishment and Ice Dragons in hand, it seems like he's very, very behind, since his opponent has Shaddoll Fusion, he has an Alistair. It's just not really looking too good for Nindo right now, especially with how much advantage Penagos has here.
Okay, so we see Penagos top deck the Artifact Lens, yeah? That's a very good top deck right now. So we see him starting with Alistair to grab the invocation from the deck, and since he has already 1 Alistair in graveyard, that Ice Dragon Prison cannot be used on Alistair, so this invocation is gonna resolve. He will go for invocation. We will see and Algoides hit the board, then use Algoides effect. He will pop the Ecclesia, because outing Ecclesia in this matchup is pretty much difficult, and going for matchup can actually give your opponent some turns, and you want to be very aggressive in this matchup because it's a control matchup, and when you know you have to push basically. And now Nindo activates Ice Dragon Prison to target Construct. Construct will banish Algoides and itself, and now we'll see what's going on. Can link to ship, maybe. Let's see. No, he doesn't link into ship. He actually runs the Dragoon Engine and the special summon Predaplant, sending the fusion materials to special summon Dragoon and then use the effect on Dragoon. This is very good for Penagos and pretty bad for Nindo, because Dragoon is pretty much unoutable except for the triple tactical talent. It's not easy to out this board right now.
Yep, and it looks like Nindo goes ahead and draws Nadir Servant for turn. So let's go ahead and see what he does here. Plays Meltdown. Meltdown effect is being thought on, and it looks like Penagos lets it go through, and he probably lets it go through for the fact that he has Lancia, and in this matchup Lancia pretty much stops the invocation from resolving. And yep, he goes ahead and uses Lancia, but now that turns triple tactical talents live. So now Nido goes ahead and he activates Nadir Servant. Right here, if I'm Penagos, I'm probably just not going to negate this for the fact that it doesn't really out Dragoons, and really what you're trying to do is protect Dragoons here. And it looks like he goes ahead and he adds Fleur-de-Lis, but he doesn't end up actually sending anything from the extra deck to the grave. Guess he must have forgot. Very confused, but I guess he just forgot to send here. I'm just very confused on why he didn't send. But yeah, either way, he goes ahead and he special summons Fleur-de-Lis, enters battle, and he attacks and uses the effect. And when he goes ahead and he attacks, Penagos ends up using Super Poly to summon Makaba. Like I said earlier, Super Poly was definitely going to come in clutch here. And Nindo now tries to activate Punishment, and yeah, Nindo just goes ahead and scoops it up, knowing that there's really no way to come back from that. So
we cannot use Penagos playing around
the tactics, right?
Triple tactical talent very well. He didn't use the Dragoon effect.
Yep.
He never used the Dragoon effect because there were no threats for Dragoon, so he played very good around triple tactical talent. That was amazing.
Yeah, just waiting for the tactics or waiting for something that could out Dragoons. Just just using the Dragoons correctly there. A lot of people usually just waste the Dragoons, and Penagos just wanted to abuse the Dragoons, knew it was unoutable, and just try to have it be the only monster that you're concerned about. So very, very well played by him.
Yeah. Basically, at the time, the Dragoon could have actually costed him the game because of that triple tactical, which is
Yep.
kind of important when you are in the top cut of a very important event like this. Let's drop right in the game tree. Let's see what happens. And I goes first. Oh, this hand is Shadow Dragon, Double Squamata, Hedgehog, and Ash. And Nindo has a quite good hand, but is very susceptible to Ash. So we see Punishment, we see Duster, Meltdown, Cosmic, and Lancia. I don't know why he sided Lancia. It's very bad in this matchup.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't agree with Lancia either, Nash. I definitely agree with you there. I just don't know what he's trying to Lancia, because in the pure invoke deck it does stop him, but in the Shadal version you could just fusion out your hand, so it's usually just a -1. I agree.
Now Penagos has only one line of play, and the only one is to advance his game state by setting Hedgehog.
Yep. So Nina goes ahead and he plays Meltdown, and it doesn't seem like Penagos is going to Ash here, which I do believe is correct, because you want him to put the Alistair on field so he could attack the Hedgehog, and for that reason I agree, because you don't want to flip your Hedgehog on your turn to get hit by Ash Blossom. You really want to use your Hedgehog in the damage step, so very well played by Penagos there by not using Ash on the Meltdown. So he goes ahead and summons Alistair, and now he decides to use Ash. And yep, Nindo goes ahead and attacks into the face down, which triggers Shadal Hedgehog, and that's going to allow him to add any fusion spell from his deck to his hand. Penagos goes ahead and he adds El Shadal Fusion, which is really, really good for the fact that Shadal Fusion could get hit by Ash Blossom, and El Shadal Fusion can't. So very, very well played by Penagos once again. So looks like Nindo goes ahead and sets 2 and passes. And yeah, I guess it's Penagos' turn.
Yeah, we can see how Penagos well-timed his interruption is placed when also is limited on his interactions. That's a very important thing to notice. This is how good players place their own deck, either when they are limited on their interaction or how to advance their game state. They're gonna do the right thing to play around activity around like an Ash Blossom, which can actually punish you. Anyways, he top decked Alistair, which he got rewarded actually, because his plays like bring him into the top deck makes this feel better. Okay, anyways, normal summon Alistair, I think. Yeah, in adds invocation. I don't know why he didn't Ash Blossom in this spot. I think Ash Blossom would have actually made something. Like, I don't know. I don't think it was correct to let this invocation be added from the end. Then he used Shadow Fusion, the L Shadow Fusion. He changed punishment, but your opponent passed with 4 cards in hand the last turn by setting a monster. So I believe you should recognize the fact he has 4 monsters or 3 monsters in hand after adding the invocation, or at least 2. It should be able to resolve his fusion spell. So I don't think the punishment was well timed in this kind of scenario. And then he sends Squamata and the Shadow Dragon to special summon Winda, presumably from the extra deck, and that's what happened. Dragon chaining 2, Squamata chaining 1 sends Ariel, and I think Nindo will chain, yes, Lancia actually, to prevent the Ariel from resolving, and then he attacks the Alistair, poke some damage, main phase 2. He goes for the link, and then use Winda and Graveyard to recover El Shadow. He doesn't use invocation here. That's interesting. So maybe he wants to play around Nibiru because he doesn't want to discard Squamata. Maybe he wants to push for damage later. We'll see.
And he goes ahead and he summons Ecclesia off of Ash Dragon. And he goes ahead and summons Fleur de Lis. And now it's his turn. And he goes ahead and he draws Lightning Storm. Not a very good card to draw here because he already has Harpies and it doesn't really advance his game state. So it looks like Nindo's going to go ahead and play Harpies to take out the El Shaddoll Fusion. He changed El Shaddoll Fusion, sending Skomata and the Gravity Controller to summon Winda. Skomata effect triggers. And it looks like Nindo's thinking. But he ends up letting Skomata go through. I don't think that was correct. Even though he knows he has Invocation in his hand, letting him get into a Shaddoll engine I think is the last thing you want to do. And from this point, I honestly think Penagos just gets into a crazy position. And
He top decked the second invocation. So yeah, I think he's gonna push for game now. He's ready. Let's see what happens. He's gonna flip Shadow Beast, draws 2, and then he use Red Ice Fusion. After he got Ash the Red Ice Fusion, he cannot use Invocation, so will be pretty dead for the rest of the turn. So all he can do right now is poke for damage. Okay, so he attacks with Shadow Beast, pop, and then he attacks directly with Winda. And that's all for this turn, I guess.
Nindo draws another copy in Ash Blossom, and at this point, I just don't really think there's a win con for Nindo here. I mean, you could summon Fleur de Lis, attack over the Shaddoll Beast, but we know he has Invocation in hand, so honestly, not very good for Nindo here. Yep, he attacks over Shaddoll Beast. Like I said, I just don't think it's enough.
Yeah, now we see the invocation going off. Banish the Eilester and the Ash Dragon from the graveyard to special summon Algoides, and Algoides is gonna pop the monster, boost, and attack for game. And that's all.
So yeah, guys, that was top 16. It looks like Penagos took it against Nindo. Penagos was playing the Shaddoll deck, a very, very popular deck with the little splash of the Red Eyes package. So very, very well played by Penagos. Congrats to Nindo for at least getting top 16, playing the Magmatica Invoke deck. Just a very, very rough matchup for him. So yeah, definitely good game though. I would have probably done some things different if I was Nindo. Probably wouldn't have played Lancia, but other than that, I think
Maybe well timed the Ash.
nice. Yeah, and probably just Ash earlier in the game for sure. But yeah, either way, good game. So yeah, with that said, guys, see y'all in the next one.